Hey everybody, Michael D'Angelo of Silence Media. So if you go to companiesmarketcap.com and type in /NZD, it should come up New Zealand's largest companies in New Zealand, or you can just do it through Google search. Just look up New Zealand's largest companies. Okay. So everything I say and I do is based upon my opinion and the opinions of Silence Media. 0. 24.54 billion. Right. Fisher and Paykel Healthcare. 20.75 billion. Wait for it, here we come. Meridian Energy, 15.40 billion. Big drop now. Auckland Airport, AIA.AX is the company's name. These are all New Zealand owned businesses, people. 11.92 billion. Infratil, IFT.NZ, 11.55 billion. Mercury, 8.32 billion. Frontiera, 7.23 billion. Main Freight, under the rank group, 7.12 billion. You'll get why I'm reading this out in a second. EBOS Group, EBO.NZ, 6.95 billion. Contact Energy, 6.26 billion. Spark NZ, 6.6 billion. That's NZTCF. Port of Tauranga. How you doing, Mr. Mr. Peters? Port of Tauranga, 3.97 billion. Now, does anybody want to question why they're drug dealers in Parliament? Huh? Chorus. Well, we know who fucking Chorus is, eh? Chorus, CNU.NZ, 3.77 billion. Victor, same owners, VCT.NZ, 3.75 billion. Goodman Property Trust, 3.18 billion. Ryman Healthcare, another rank group, 2.92 billion. Now, you're going to hear me say something quite often. Xero, XERO, right? The rank group. Fisher and Paykel, the rank group. I will explain why in a minute. Meridian Energy, the rank group. Auckland Airport, the rank group. Infratil, some dickhead in Parliament. Mercury NZ, the rank group. Frontier, the rank group. Main Freight, Winston Peters. EBOS, some dickhead in Parliament. Contact Energy, the rank group. Spark New Zealand, the rank group. The A2 Milk Company. Oh, that's what I forgot before. The A2 Milk Company is worth 4.29 billion, and it is connected to the rank group. Port of Tauranga, we all know where that's thing, and it is also now connected to the rank group as well. Chorus, the rank group. Victor Limited, the rank group. Goodman Property Trust, the second richest man in New Zealand. Ryman Healthcare, the rank group. Now, if you look at what I'm talking about when I say the rank group, no, they don't own it, people. They are heavily invested in it, in each one of those. Heavily invested in them. And when I say heavily invested, they are in the major shareholders of them. The richest man in New Zealand owns the rank group and has him and his cronies of the United Order of Freemasons. And yes, people, I'm fucking serious. All part and parcel of the rank group. This is all public knowledge, people. These are all dickheads that are on some of the owners on here are actually parliamentarians, and this is why I can't say their names. We all know about Main Freight. We know about Spark, being that it's a government-run entity. It's still actually under. There's still Telecom New Zealand that's out there that's trading as well, but it's trading under a different market share. Port of Tauranga. We know that Winston Peters is heavily involved in the Port of Tauranga to the point where he's the largest shareholder in the Port of Tauranga. Of course, another government entity, and that's where One New Zealand doesn't even come into the play, because One New Zealand doesn't have government authority. All the lines were originally owned by what was known as Telecom New Zealand, now Spark New Zealand. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because, Mr. Brown, you asked for the list. Well, find the major shareholders for each of these companies and you'll see the list yourself. It's the best way I can do it, because if I was to put people's names up on screen or up on a video, I get done for doxing. Seriously. I can talk about Graham Richard Hart, the dickhead, because he is connected to everything that is public knowledge. However, there are some parliamentarians that I can't talk about because it's not public knowledge who they are in the way of the major shareholders in certain groups. That's why, talking about the Executive Council, I can turn around and say that Simon O'Connor is part of the Executive Council. But if you were to go back last year, or actually before the election, he actually stated it. Oopsie. Excuse me, I'm not going to block that out. I'm human. Anyway. So, Just so you know, I'm not fucking pulling your legs or anything. It's all there. Right. All right. You can check up operating margin, dividend, PE ratio, revenue, earnings, all of that on this video on the website, which is companiesmarketcap.com. Okay, you want to know who's running this country? Well, there's a couple of business here that have slipped under the radar, and that is Nestle, but that's under a food company now, restaurant brands. Nestle and Unilever slip under the radar because they're now protected by government themselves, absolutely protected by government, the crown government. And that happens when a shareholder happens to be a parliamentarian. So whenever there's a shareholder that's a major, it's like the only reason I can say this is because it came up recently, but Pharmac and David Seymour. Pharmac made something like I think it was a couple of $100 billion out of COVID, yet David Seymour went way under the radar. No one knew about him being part of Pharmac. Recently, it went through the mainstream media, so now we the rest of the people can actually talk about it. Beforehand, we all knew about it, but we couldn't talk about it. And that's the thing, is as soon as the mainstream media fuck it up, then we can talk about it. Interesting how the law goes. If the mainstream media get wind of something and they speak about it, then everybody else in New Zealand has the freedom of speech on that subject. If the mainstream media don't talk about it, our freedom of speech is taken away from us. This is why I say the Crown is corrupt, because they pick and choose what laws that they'll do when they want and how they want. So, to Mr. Brown, I'm not being rude to you, sir. I just don't want to get in trouble again. And I do. I get into a lot of shit when I turn around and put out information of who, what, where, and when. It's all public knowledge. You can do it yourselves. But I do like something that, see, an old friend of mine, Rob, is connected with Mr. Brown and a few of the other people. He once had an idea, and the idea was to create a freedom camp where everyone could go and start their own economy, like a commie camp, but start their own economy, and then turn around and use the outside to boost that economy until it became their own town or their own group of people. The problem with that is land prices. Trying to get land is virtually hard for somebody who is coming off the street to do it. So I'm tight with a couple of farmers, and I might talk to some of them about it, about the idea of leasing a bit of land off them or something. We'll see what happens. But the whole idea is to bring the people back to being the people. Not black versus white, not pink versus blue, not red versus green or yellow or whatever. You know, if you think like that, then you're always going to be stuck in a primitive mindset. I once said I was black and white until the day I die. I am black and white until the day I die. And what does that mean? That means I hold two colours that aren't colours. Black and white. They're not colours. Look it up. And I don't care what anyone says. They are the two most neutral colours in the world today. Yes, I know people use them and say, oh, these are my colours, yada, yada, yada. Oh, well, they are your colours. They're everyone's colours. Sorry, people. That stuff's leaking again. And this is when the mentality of people would need to snap out of it. You're doing exactly what the government wants you to do. Be primitive. Fuck. I'm human. You know? You won't find an AI sneezing or scratching his butt in public, and you won't find him sniffing. So, like it or not, it is what it is. I'll do what I do. I don't give a fuck about what, oh, you should stop sniffing while you're online. I'm Michael D'Angelo. Probably the biggest arsehole freedom fighter you're ever going to meet. I do what I do. Anyway, people, stay safe, be righteous, be well, be free. Peace.